You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
It's a special Halloween edition of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Live from the haunted Lake Wissota studio, here's your ghost host, Pat Kreitlow.
Yeah, I got my last-minute costume baseball cap on. I am ready to roll. Dr. Kristen Lyerly joining us, Parker Olson producing things as well on a Halloween Friday. Dr. Lyerly not with us on Monday because somebody was at the Packers-Steelers game and wore out her voice. Let's see if it's any better today. Dr. Lyerly, good morning.
Good morning. It was worth it because I personally felt responsible, as did all of the Packer fans around me, for the Go Pack Go cheers. So you're welcome.
Thank you. Well, it worked. Aaron Rodgers talked about how he had to use a silent count for the first time, and at a home game for him. So that was cool. Good work out of you.
It was so cool. And when we got to the beginning of the fourth quarter and the Steelers fans, who were awesome, by the way, the people in Pittsburgh were amazing, but they started just streaming out of the stadium and we stayed.
Of course.
We stayed. And oh my gosh, we just had so much fun.
Oh, that's so great. Let's see from good morning from Tigerton, writes Rob on YouTube. It's cloudy and 37 on a Halloween Friday. Yesterday was a great day working outside, mowing leaves, doing paperwork for the mowing season. He says 2 years ago we had a white Halloween with 6 inches of snow. Let's see, had a white Halloween and Christmas. It was 51 degrees. Oh yeah, that's right. It was a white Halloween 2 years ago, and he had a brown Christmas when it was 51 degrees. So yeah, that's how this works. Let's see. Oh, Rob also writes, my mom helped start the Tigerton Community Cupboard, a community food bank by the Tigerton area churches and businesses. I used to help my mom distribute food for the community cupboard for many years. He writes, please help out your community food banks.
That's
and
right.
we're going to be talking later to legislative candidate Emily Tseffos, who we'll get into this more with her. But you said Emily is getting noticed for her work to help support all these food banks. Alicia writes on YouTube, Emily was out there last night in the dark picking up food. That woman is an icon. She is a true leader.
She has little kids too. So her kids are with her in the car, driving all over the Fox Valley, picking up food, delivering it, making sure people do not go hungry. This is personal for Emily, and I'm sure we're going to get into it.
Absolutely, we will. So this week, of course, well, let's start with that. The food banks are needing help, because of the SNAP benefits that are being cut. And I mean, on a day-to-day basis, Kristen, you talk to patients who and going through their daily struggles. I don't know that they've ever felt more like political pawns than right now.
I think they're really starting to get it. But we're talking about 1 in 8 Americans who receive SNAP benefits, who depend on SNAP benefits. And these are children, elderly folks with disabilities, our most vulnerable population. And we have the money. We have the contingency funds there. All they have to do is release it to make sure that these people can continue to get access to food. What is going on with our government? A government that is for the people, that is meant to be that foundation for us. Instead, they're using these people as pawns, and we're doing everything that we can to do what Emily Tseffos is doing, to run around and fill the food banks and volunteer and help out as much as we are able to. But this is a government deal, and they need to step up.
Well, there has to be the willingness to, and right now they almost seem to revel in, we always say that line, the cruelty is the point.
Yeah.
And it really seems to be having an impact with them. And I'm still struck by this feeling like if they just say Democrat shutdown and Schumer shutdown, if they just say it enough that people will believe it. And don't get me wrong, the Marquette poll shows that people are angry at both parties. But they do know this is not a chicken and egg situation. They do know this had a clear start with somebody.
Can I just float an idea that I've been tossing around in my head that we have not talked about?
Go for it.
This thought, so I live in northeastern Wisconsin, where people tend to vote for Republicans, but they're actually pretty independent. But the Democratic label is kind of toxic here. people love to say, I don't know, I'm not a party. I'm not a
I
part of
vote for the
that.
person, not
You
the
know,
party. Yeah.
I'm in the middle. I
Yeah.
hear a lot of people saying, I'm in the middle.
Mhm.
And there really isn't a middle. I mean, the middle of what? At this stage in this country where our government is literally starving vulnerable people, uh, where's the middle for that? You have to pick a side when it comes to these issues. So I think that it's really important for us as neighbors and friends and community members not to talk about this in terms of politics, but to talk about it in terms of what is right. And saying I'm in the middle does not solve this problem, but stepping up and talking to your representative and saying, you need to do that, you need to go back to work, you need to release these funds.
Mhm.
That's what we need from our representatives, from our neighbors right now.
Yeah, it's like, our caller earlier, Ollie from the Northwoods, who said it is just time to get on the phone, call the White House switchboard,
Yes.
call your congressional representative, whether they're, whichever side they're on, let them hear from you that this is a real concern. And now we're seeing Head Starts in Wisconsin are going to start closing their doors. That's going to put some parents into high anxiety, not just for their kids, but for their work. Do they have to stay home from work? Will they lose their job as a result? This is getting real for a lot of folks starting this weekend.
It is. And I know that it feels uncomfortable to have to take a side, but you have to take a side right now. You have to step up for what's right. And you don't have to declare it, but you definitely have to stand for what you believe in.
Yeah. And so a lot of this, of course, is centered on the skyrocketing cost of health insurance, going
Mm.
back to the bad old days pre Obamacare, which is what Republicans want. And so starting tomorrow, open enrollment season for policies in the Affordable Care Act marketplace. We've given some of the specific numbers throughout the course of the week here around Wisconsin, Kristen, but you're the one who's actually talked to people who come with some trepidation because they don't have health insurance, or you didn't, they should have come to you a lot earlier, but of course they didn't have health insurance. And we're just going back to some bad old days here with these kinds of price hikes.
I'm so worried about this. The health insurance, our healthcare system is already so fundamentally broken. But when people can't afford to go to the doctor and they know, when you have a problem, when you should get it checked out, and you're weighing in your head, like, is it worth it? Do I really want to spend this money? As it gets more expensive, it's harder to put that money out there to actually do that thing to take care of yourself. But, having diagnosed advanced cancers and cardiovascular disease, which is the heart disease, is the number one killer of all of us. There are things that we can do. There are steps that we can take to control your blood pressure and your cholesterol and to advise you on how to live a healthier life so that you'll live longer and better. There are things we can do if you can get to the doctor. But if you can't, that's a problem. And if you have to wait and you end up in the emergency department, it's expensive. They often can't do anything for you. That's not healthcare. That's putting out fires. They can treat your stroke or your heart attack, but they can't help you manage your blood pressure or your diabetes long term.
No.
And if you can't afford it and you end up in the emergency department, you end up with medical debt. The hospital ends up having to write it off, and the entire community ends up paying for it. It is a lose-lose on all levels when people can't access healthcare.
Yeah. One part of it is being attacked by the Secretary for Health and Human Services, Robert Kennedy Jr. On our website right now is the article, RFK Jr. is ignoring 100 studies or more to push his abortion pill ban. This is the mifepristone explainer you need. And so that article is on our website. So for folks who can't get to it, maybe you can talk a bit more. I know you put something on your Facebook this week about medication abortion, and yet the Trump administration is still making moves to make it no longer available.
I'm the mifepristone explainer that you need. I
Absolutely.
can talk about it. That mifepristone is one of the medications that we use in medication abortion, also for managing miscarriages. It's used in most abortions in this country, actually the majority these days. It is safe. It is effective. We've been using it for decades. We've got tons of evidence that shows that it works and it is a good thing. And it is actually life-saving for so many people. But again, because of politics, the FDA has agreed to review this medication, and we all know where this is going to end up. They're going to end up putting restrictions on it, or maybe even pulling it entirely, making it inaccessible for people. And this is how Donald Trump enacts his backdoor abortion ban. He can't do it through the front door, We've had referendum after referendum all across this country that show that people support the right to choose to make your own personal healthcare decisions. But Donald Trump doesn't, and his administration doesn't. And this is their trick to force us to do what they want us to do.
We're talking to Dr. Kristen Lyerly, who also hosts the Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show Saturdays at noon across the Civic Media Radio Network. And you can also follow on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. What you got going on this weekend?
I think we're Saturday and Sunday at noon now.
Yes.
Isn't that exciting?
Yes.
Yeah, we're talking to Fran Hung, Representative Fran Hung, candidate for Wisconsin Governor Fran Hung. You're going to want to listen to this one. So we're doing a series talking with all of the candidates for governor on the Democratic side. I'll invite the Republicans too. I just have a gut feeling they're not going to show up. Yeah. But Fran is spicy, and she's got some great, really well thought out ideas. And I'll tell you one thing, Fran is for the people. She's been a dishwasher. She's owned a restaurant. She understands what working people are going through. And you're going to hear that loud and clear this weekend.
Yeah, without a doubt. So listen to that coming up this weekend. Let's see, from Alicia on YouTube, we've got active duty military classified as leave without pay. She says that's basically AWOL, which means there's a potential of not getting back pay if you're on leave without pay. That's insane. Rob from Tigerton followed up with it with a comment. It's sad that we treat our military personnel on duty 24/7 protecting this country and don't get paid. Many are very close to harm's way. But the other point with that is the Trump administration is saying, well, we're going to find a way to pay them. Well, again, that's fine. But that is you playing favorites because there are still so many essential workers across the federal government who aren't going to get paid. And you can't just hide behind the military and say, well, we're paying them, so everything's okay. That's not okay at all. Why are you holding back anybody's pay? Why aren't you just operating a functional federal government?
Here's the easy way to do it. Negotiate, reopen the government, put everything back in place. It's all right there. Everybody gets paid. Everybody's happy. Seems simple to me. When I was coming back from Pittsburgh, I saw a TSA agent, a lot of them actually. And, I'm from Wisconsin, so I'm friendly. So I asked how they were doing. And this person just looked at me and said, some of us are going to food banks. The government should be embarrassed. Those are his exact words. And I was shocked. Like, usually they're so stoic and they don't say anything, but he was clearly suffering. Yeah. And, I put my hand on his shoulder. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I just couldn't help it because he was just like so angry. This is so fundamentally unfair and so fixable if we actually had a government that was for the people. If the Republicans would just go back to Washington, D.C., where the Democrats are waiting and doing the work, and just negotiate. Oh,
but that would mean ending their paid vacation, where they're trying so hard to spin this. But again, call your congressperson's office and give that very simple message. Go back to D.C. Go back and do the job that we are paying you to do.
That's right.
Quick look at sports at 8:20, and then Kristen and I will be joined by Emily Tseffos as well. The Milwaukee Bucks, Ryan Rollins. Wouldn't it be something for
that would be
for the Milwaukee
wild.
Bucks? That would be something. Ryan Rollins set a personal scoring high, 32 points, helping the Bucks beat the Golden State Warriors 120-110, even without Giannis, who missed the game due to a sore left knee. Miles Turner added 17 points for the Bucks. The Badger hockey team defeated the Minnesota Gophers, and they will play again on Saturday. The women's hockey team taking on the Gophers tonight and tomorrow in Madison as well. Thanks for joining us live from the lake. I'm Pat Kreitlow from Up North News, and this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
Scarier than a gas station breakfast burrito. It's Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News.
I don't know how I feel about that comparison, but I didn't get a vote in that. So welcome back. It is just about 8:23. Dr. Kristen Lyerly is here, and we are joined by State Senate candidate Emily Tseffos as well. Emily, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy to be with you both on this Halloween.
Yes, and what a busy person you have been. We mentioned earlier that we got a note from our listener Alicia, who says Emily was out there last night in the dark picking up food. The woman is an icon. She is a true leader. She clearly heard you during the commercial break because she added, "What do I always tell you, Emily? I'll sleep when I'm dead."
She does say that. Yes, she is
Mhm.
also a hero of mine. So
Yeah, there are a lot of heroes out there, more than we should need at this point.
Mhm.
But you've been especially active. Well, first off, it was active enough just to decide to run for state senate in again a tough district. But now you're doing all of this extra work to make sure that food banks are prepared for the cutoff in SNAP benefits. So let's get to the first one first. I know you've talked about it in several different social media posts, but I'd like you to tell our audience, this is an uphill climb, and you know how hard the last campaign was. You're back for more anyway, for good reason.
yeah, I think it's just at the end of the day, things are falling away and people deserve better than they're getting right now. They deserve somebody that knows their community and the district well, and that is going to show up and be accountable and fight for them like hell, because we really need to make sure that we're protecting the most vulnerable of us. We're investing in our communities and we're strengthening things for all of us. So I'm excited. It's a mountain, but we're chipping away at it.
It's about showing up, like you said. Rob in Tigerton adds Emily is a true hero, putting that on YouTube for you as well. Um, but again, being there, because we've had multiple instances of legislators who it's questionable if they even live in their district, much less represent it. And then there's the ones who don't show up in Madison, or like all these members of Congress on the Republican side who aren't showing up in Washington D.C. I mean, showing up is such a big part of the job, both officially and unofficially, with what you're doing, helping out with food banks and food pantries. I guess you're just really showing people the first key is get out of the house.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it's the fact that like this is what every elected, in my opinion, should be doing right now is, I mean, we are at a precipice, aren't we? And so I think that we really need strong leadership right now. And I don't care what side, I'm telling people with this food drive, I don't care what your politics are. People need to be fed. Like food is a human right. And if we're going to treat people with dignity, like let's make sure they have food on the table, that kids have food in their bellies. And it's really just about that for me, first and foremost, is meeting that urgent need. But we should be seeing everyone doing this regardless of your party affiliation at this point.
Mm-hmm. Kristen?
Emily, this is not a campaign thing for you. I mean, you are out there doing the work because you care, and it's personal for you, isn't it?
Yeah, my youngest son is adopted, and he experienced chronic malnutrition before we adopted him at 3.5. And so, like, the hunger piece of it is something that is a part of our family all the time, because what he experienced it'll always be with him. And so, a special part of my heart is like every parent wants their kid to be fed. Every human being wants a child or a person to not experience like hunger pains, like people crying themselves to sleep and things like that. And while his situation was different, it's that hunger piece. So it's about human dignity, for me. And so I'm looking at him and I'm wondering, like, we are the wealthiest country in the world. Like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing?
Can I just say there are so many, Pat, you said it earlier, politicians who are out there not living in their district, just trying to take advantage, doing the photo ops. If I see another picture of Tony Weed at a food bank, while he is literally taking food out of people's mouths, I'm just going to lose it. But Emily is doing the real thing, the thing that people want, the thing that people expect their leaders to do. And I want to invite all of our listeners to just really think about, what does this mean? What is true leadership when somebody like Emily, who is so authentic and grounded, steps into this role to truly serve? It's beautiful. And I'm so honored to be your friend, Emily.
Like, thank you. But also it's just I put out a call, right? Like, you have a little bit of a social media presence, and I put out a call and I built something I think that was really beautiful community wise when I ran last time. And to say to those people, our neighbors need us, and have them be like, I've got it. I've got stuff on the porch now. I've got bins on the porch. Just come and pick them up. And I messaged all my friends, and they're doing that work. And I think it's that collective, like, community effort that we need to see more of. And frankly, like when government fails us, we know here in Wisconsin, we're going to take care of each other. But at the same time, it shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't have to be this way. And frankly, because of what's going on in Washington, the fact that they have that funding available that they're simply not releasing, that has already been appropriated, like we need to call attention to that, right? The egregious missteps of this administration and Congress and people like Tony Weed, who are then doing their photo ops. And it's like, show up authentically. Don't use us as pawns.
Yeah. Emily has much more, of course, on her campaign website, emilytseffos.com. That's Emily, Tseffos. Emily, Tseffos, emilytseffos.com to learn more. Can you tell folks a bit about the district that you're running in, where it is?
Sure. So every Senate district in the state is made up of 3 assembly districts. So it's districts 55, 56, 57. Doesn't mean a lot to people, but it's just the outskirts of Appleton, some Grand Chute, and then it goes westward to Wapaka and Waushara counties, and then down into Winnebago County, like Fox Crossing, and south of Oshkosh. All those like urban like cities along the lake are a different Senate district, but very, very rural, very, very large. And so like I alluded to before, it's going to take a team effort to get this one done and get it done right. And I'm really going to be dependent on people that are like, I know it's broken. I want to help you fix it, because I don't want it to just be me. I want it to be a whole community effort kind of thing.
Oh, it's the only way it gets done is it takes a village, because there's a lot of villages in every state Senate district. A lot of ground to cover. Dr. Kristen Lyerly with us, along with Emily Tseffos. It is just coming up on 8:30 here, and we will continue this conversation coming up. And then again, a reminder, the Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show can be heard on the weekends at noon all across the Civic Media Radio Network. You can also follow on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back. Yourself over to our website, upnorthnewswi.com. Click subscribe in the banner at the top and subscribe to our daily newsletter. The weekday edition today includes an article about the way that federal cuts are threatening rural Wisconsin in so many ways. We've talked about it a lot on this program, but get a few more details by finding that article on our website or subscribing to our weekday newsletter. And then there's our Sunday morning newsletter, conveniently named Sunday Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, all about some of the political stories of the week. There's also a question of the week, and this week's question was, should a new nuclear power plant be built in the Kewanee area, where there had been a plant that was then decommissioned, and there's been talk about building a brand new nuclear power plant there, one that supporters say would generate electricity without contributing to climate change. Others saying that the risks aren't worth it. For the first part of the week, the answers were decidedly 50-50 in nature. And now after this program, I'm going to tally up all the rest of the emails that have come in responding to the newsletter. We'll have the answer coming up this Sunday morning, along with a new question of the week. Again, subscribe over at upnorthnewswi.com. Joined once again by Dr. Kristen Lyerly and Emily Tseffos, who is running for state senate in the Fox Valley. And Kristen, of course, has the Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show, which you can hear Saturdays and Sundays at noon across the Civic Media Radio Network. And Kristen, you are no stranger to the topic of the federal cuts harming rural health care. We've talked about that at length. And Emily, you have a Senate district that was a lot like mine over here in the western part of the state. That's got some, it's got some incorporated areas, but there's a whole lot of area that is decidedly rural and feels forgotten in Madison or Washington. And you're there to tell them that somebody actually is listening and wanting to work on their behalf.
Yeah, I think that we have like Wapaka that lost their maternity ward earlier this year in their hospital. And a lot of people that I've talked to, again, like kind of pulling from what I did in 2024, but certainly this hasn't changed, is that it's really, it's hard to get access or to care close to you. And it's really difficult for a lot of working folks to find what they need in order to like live healthy lives in their townships. And we really want to like point out the root cause of that, instead of it just being like, this thing happened. Like, we really need to start naming plainly, repeatedly, who's accountable, like who made the decisions. Every pain point is a policy choice. And that's what I'm going to try to do this time
Oh,
around.
I want to say that every pain point is a policy choice, which is so true. And I think we, especially in rural areas, are so reluctant, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, to pick a side. It's like we are loyal to our team and we just don't want to let that go. But clearly, one team is not working on behalf of the people. And it's having that conversation, that face to face, Emily, that you are so good at when you knock on somebody's door and you start talking about the things that people care about. And you so gently help people understand this isn't working for you and it's because of this. This isn't working for you and it's because of this. And creating that trust and helping people understand truly how this tribalism is tearing us apart. These are the conversations we need to be having with our friends and neighbors, and they're hard conversations to have, but they are necessary.
Yeah, I think that with the misinformation and like just the way that the machine works on either side with media and things like that, it's getting back to the one-on-one conversation. It's painfully slow, surely, to be doing this kind of stuff. But I've been on so many doors where they're either like politically apathetic or they've got a lot of misinformation. And then to like have an honest, respectful conversation and say, like, you tell me that you're not political, but I see you taking care of your autistic grandson because your daughter had an issue with addiction. Like, that's all political because it either helps what you're trying to do for your own self to make things manageable, or it hurts people like you. And like, those are the kind of things where it's like, you see those light bulbs go off, and people are like, oh my gosh, you're right. And what I think, like Pat, you mentioned, people feel left behind and forgotten. It's because everything is so big and ambiguous. And you like the economy is the stock market and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it's people sitting that are stressed at the end of every month with bills on their kitchen table.
Yes.
They're like, how am I going to do this? Right? Like, how am I going to pay this again and save for something like retirement? And so we really just need to get back to the brass tacks and talking about that without letting that twist and contortion kind of put them against us.
Emily Tseffos is a candidate for state senate. You can learn more about Emily at emilytseffos.com. That's Emily T as in Tom, Emily Tseffos, about the race that she's running there. And Emily and Kristen, there's also, of course, the aspect of things. I mean, we're always trying to like explain the little nuances in policy that are hurting rural areas. But then there's the things that are readily apparent, like China buying no soybeans from Wisconsin farmers, and then the Trump administration, giving $40 billion to Argentina and saying we're going to import beef. And sometimes it feels like you just need to knock on some of these doors. They're already aware of that and go, see?
I know. It's so tempting, but I keep telling people don't do that. Like I keep telling people
It doesn't
because you
feel
want
good.
to.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And I think like what I'm trying to like get across to people is to say, like, as people are feeling that stress that what's created by this administration or by people in Madison, like they lied to you. They told you costs were going to go down. They told you that the global market for your crops or your beef would be better than ever. That's not happening. And you're seeing it happen. And I'm so sorry that they lied to you. But let's talk about what I want to bring to the table, or the kind of transparency and accountability that I would bring in leadership to make sure that this kind of stuff doesn't happen. We don't want people taking advantage of each other. And frankly, like, again, when we're talking, it's not left or right anymore. It's top versus bottom. And it's people that are taking advantage of that. And while we're toiling away and fighting at the bottom, all the people at the top are laughing all the way to the bank. Like, and I think that is a critical piece of this as well.
Any
100%.
chance it's too late to change how you're running? On the text line from Tiffany in River Falls, Tseffos for governor. Just that basic. So,
flattering. I have 3 kids and the Senate district is quite big enough for me. And there's some great candidates that have already emerged in the field. So we're good to go here.
Well, and
but there is the future, so let's keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, yep. There's always that. Emily's also serving as county chair for the Outagamie County Democratic Party. So Emily, both you and Kristen have another role that you're playing this time of year. It maybe isn't really firing up yet, but it should, and it will real soon. And that's finding candidates for some of these other districts to run. And candidate recruitment, I don't know, is it harder because Donald Trump actually won last time around and people are discouraged, or might it be a little easier because now they've seen what his wrecking ball has metaphorically and literally done?
I think it's A little bit of both. Like, I think that there are people that are excited, not excited, but they feel it's their responsibility right now as things are hollowing out to go and serve their community in that way. And that is incredible to see. I
Mhm.
do think that especially in these non-targeted districts, like where I ran and where I'm running, that it's a really tough ask because you're kind of like left out there to build and do your own thing. And so what I want to do, like what part of the reason that I'm excited about running for Senate is that it encompasses those 3 assembly districts. So really working in coordination, and Kristen, you like kind of set us up in the 8th CD to do this, like really collaborating and being as strong as we can. And when you do that, like hopefully you see more people that are like, okay, as long as I'm not alone, like I can do this with you. And so we really want it to be like a team effort, like we're all in this together kind of thing.
That's exactly what we need. I think in the past, we've looked at these districts and said, there is a candidate running in this district and it's about the candidate. But in Northeast Wisconsin, it's about our team working with the county chairs, with the food banks, with the other candidates. And it's this giant collaborative effort. But still, it's hard for people to step up in an environment like this and put yourself in a partisan role, recognizing that the partisan divide is huge and uncomfortable. But if ever there was a time to take one for the team and to recognize the difference that you could make, this is that time.
Dr. Kristen Lyerly is with us, along with Emily Tseffos, as we talk about the 2026 races that are just coming into their own, with people announcing for all the various offices that are out there. And Kristen, I think it's important to remind folks that Emily's running for state senate. That last year we were talking all about the new, fairer maps, and that all 99 assembly districts, had been basically redrawn or modified, but only half of the state senate, because those terms are 4 years instead of 2. So this next time is the other half of the state senate having to run with these brand new maps for the first time. And just by luck of the draw, a lot of last year's state senate races were pretty prominently Republican. There are a lot more state senate districts in 2026 that are going to be up for grabs this year. We may end up with, if not the trifecta of a Democratic governor, Senate, and Assembly, coming closer than we have in 15 years.
That's the goal. I don't think we kept hearing about how gerrymandered we were. I don't think we really recognized, like truly felt how gerrymandered we were until we saw the new maps. Northeast Wisconsin is a great example of this. We had 3 state senators who lived literally within 6 miles of each other. They were just doot, 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 right next, like neighbors. They could walk to each other's houses, but they consumed the entire northeastern region of the state because of the way that these maps were drawn. Now that we've got fair maps in the state legislature, people get it. And people are going to get out and vote because they care. I believe in Wisconsinites. I know that Wisconsinites are independent thinkers, independent voters. That's what Emily is counting on. And she's having these conversations in some really tough districts. I think we, as neighbors, as Wisconsinites, we can really make a difference here.
Emily, when you made the decision to run, given the fairer maps, again, still, not an easy campaign by any stretch, but you're talking to folks with the state Democratic Party, the Democratic Senate committee there, and then other Democrats who are running for state Senate as well as Assembly. And there has to be, as much optimism as there ever has been, thanks to the way we finally got fairer maps in the state.
Yeah, I think that people again like are feeling that optimism, and it's weird because you're holding 2 truths in your hand. One is that things are not looking great for a lot of people that we care about, but to like now's our shot. And so I think that we need to like keep serving with community as the center and as the root of any of the things that we're doing, like not being so hyper partisan in our messaging or like kind of just disregarding people's real and experienced like fear or anger and stuff like that, but really getting to like the root. Like we all care about our family, our community, our country. So let's talk through without, again, all of the manufactured crises and hyperbolic outrage. Let's really talk through like the nuts and bolts of what's going to make life when you walk out your front door. How are we going to make it more livable, more affordable, safer for you? And let's work on that together. So I think that as long as our candidates are willing to do that work and talk to those issues, like we're going to see some really positive things coming out next year.
Emily, we're coming up on Halloween night. You've been busting your butt all week. Do you relax? Do you take people out trick or treating? Are you the candy hander outer? How are you going to take care of yourself tonight?
Well, I have 3 children and they have big plans for bags full of candy. So we have our costumes.
Pillowcases.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. And my middle son was like, I'm going to fill the whole thing. I'm like, that's a lot of candy, buddy.
A lot of candy.
But we're going to be out trick-or-treating. So I'm going to do some running to pick up all the food this morning. And then I'm going to get out trick-or-treating with them in the afternoon.
Got a costume tonight or a favorite one that you've had in the past?
I'm always Professor McGonagall from
Aw.
Harry Potter because I have a robe and it's nice and warm and it's great. So that is my annual costume. Yeah.
That actually, I was Dumbledore a couple of different times when my daughters were into Harry Potter. Very easy costume. Kristen, how about you tonight?
I'm making a big pot of soup and handing out goodies to all the kiddos and the grown-ups. We've got grown-up goodies.
You put the
too.
ladle of soup in the bag, or do you individual? Oh, you mean for dinner before?
Just a soupy pillowcase.
I'm like,
That's weird.
that's so.
It melts the chocolate.
Sorry. Dr. Kristen Lyerly, listen for her show tomorrow at noon and Sunday as well across the Civic Media Radio Network. Emily Tseffos, State Senate candidate at Emily Tseffos, EmilyTseffos.com. Emily, Kristen, thank you so much. Have a great start to the weekend.
Happy Halloween.
All right.
Bye.
Great to talk to you both. When we come back, coming up, we'll close out with a game of tricks and treats. Politician or Disney villain? Politician or Disney villain? We'll explain after this. You're up north.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
Scarier than a gas station breakfast burrito. It's Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News.
Gas station sushi can be counted in there as well. The Milwaukee Bucks' Ryan Rollins set a personal scoring high, 32 points to help the Bucks beat Golden State last night, 120-110. Giannis sat out with a sore left knee. Let's see. There's also college hockey to tell you about coming up Saturday. The Badger men's hockey team will host Minnesota. 5:30, the pregame begins on WFHR in Wisconsin Rapids. And Sunday, Packers hosting the Carolina Panthers. Pregame begins at 10 a.m. on some of the stations of the Civic Media Radio Network. Time to introduce the audience to a new character here on the program. And by character, I mean an individual. I don't mean like this is his real name, Frank Gargano, who serves as our one of our new senior producers at Civic Media. Frank, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Pat. It's been a fun week being on the show. I know Parker's mentioned the man behind the curtain a couple of times, so it's great to finally be on and meet all of you. Thank you for putting up with me as I put you two to the test in a game real quick. You guys ready?
I'm glad you're bringing ideas here, and this one is called what? Disney villain or politician?
We have politician or Disney villain. Obviously, Disney villains are always popular costumes this time of year, so you know, we talk a lot about politics, so let's end the show on a light note, and we'll see if you guys can guess if these quotes are attributed to famous politicians or classic Disney villains. So it's going to be Pat versus Parker. I'm going to read the quote. You both will give your guess, politician or Disney villain, and then Parker will play the clip. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Oh, yeah.
And just so you know, you guys are playing for a prize. The winner will get a free beverage of their choice, courtesy of yours truly.
Oh, well, okay.
I'm really interested.
Let me take the next step toward that old fashioned and go with question number 1.
Excellent choice. Question number 1. Here's the quote. You know, it takes a lot longer to build a lie than to tell the simple truth.
Ooh.
It takes a lot longer to build a lie than to tell the simple truth.
I'm gonna go with politician.
I'm thinking politician too.
Both are going politician. Parker, play the clip.
You know, it takes a lot longer to build a lie than to tell the simple truth.
That is correct. It was Speaker of the House Mike Johnson on that one.
Well, of course. Okay.
Yeah. Which is, you know.
Yep.
He never tells a lie, right, Pat?
Oh, or is incapable of anything but. All right, question number 2.
All right, we're tied at 1 point apiece. Number 2, perfectly balanced as all things should be. Perfectly balanced as all things should be. What do we think?
It sounds like a Mary Poppins type thing. I'm gonna. Well, she's not a Disney villain. Well, maybe to some people. I would say Disney villain anyway.
Jeez, I'm thinking.
Pat's going villain. Parker.
I'm thinking villain too.
All right, both guessing the same thing twice in a row. Let's hear it.
Pretty, isn't it? Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
You guys were right. That was Thanos from the Avengers movies.
Okay.
Thanos.
Wow. Oh, we're even going Avengers on this.
Yeah, that's a Disney.
It's
Hey,
in Disney.
Disney property.
Disney umbrella is gargantuan.
That
All right.
is a Disney property. We're
Okay.
tied at 2 points apiece. On to number 3. See, now you respect me because I'm a threat.
Oh God. Oh,
Ooh.
that's.
okay.
See, now you respect me because I'm a threat.
I
What are we
really
thinking?
hope that it's a villain, so I'm going with that.
Okay.
Parker's
Then
going villain.
I'm going to go with politician.
Pat's going politician. Let's hear it.
See? Now you respect me because I'm a threat.
Parker gets the point in this one. That was Syndrome from The Incredibles.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Good. There we go. Score 1 for Parker.
Score 1 for Parker.
He's
3-2.
getting that close. He's getting that close to his beverage. Another glass of
Another
water.
glass
I
of
was gonna
water,
say
yep.
it's gonna be a nice. What do you think, Dasani, Aquafina? What's your
Oh,
water
no,
choice?
oh,
Parker?
Fiji. Fiji's top
Gotta
of the
be
line.
Fiji.
Yeah.
Come on.
Has to be
Only the
Great
finest
choice.
of bottled
All right.
water.
All right, moving on to question number 4. Delay in dealing with the problems that we have equals death.
Ooh.
I think politician.
I'm going to go with politician as well.
Both are going politician. Let's hear that one.
Delay in dealing with the problems that we have equals death.
That's correct. That's Wisconsin Representative Tom Tiffany.
Which is awkward in that he is a politician of a Disney villain type in his own way. So I almost feel like we both can get the point for that one, but it still keeps Parker in the lead. All right. Next.
All right. For those of you just joining us, we are playing politician or Disney villain. We're reading famous quotes. Pat and Parker have to guess whether it was a politician or Disney villain. Right now, Parker leads 4-3. We have time for a couple more. Let's get to the next one. I'm surrounded by idiots.
I mean, everyone has said that at some point in their life.
Yeah. So what?
But it is famously attributed to this person. What do we think?
I think it's a villain.
Parker's going villain. Pat?
Politician.
Pat's going politician. Parker, let's hear it.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
That one was from Scar. That's from The Lion King.
Yes, I remember the quote well, but given that I have said it many a time myself in an ill temper, I'm going to give myself a point, having been a politician who probably uttered that at some point. So half a point for me.
Parker is getting away with the lead right now. It's 5-3. Parker, as I was compiling this list with the thought for the game, I was like, wow, these really could go either way.
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
It's the genius of this game. All right.
All right. Next one's real tricky. This one's, they're lying. I'm over it. Stop it.
Oh, we know this one.
I mean,
I knew Pat would know this one.
Yeah. Do we get
We
an extra
know-
point?
We know this guy who should be a Disney villain and still has a chance to, after his congressional career is over, play a little Derek for us, Parker.
Yeah.
They're lying. I'm over it. Stop it.
Derek Van Orden's greatest hits, boys and girls.
It's a classic. 6-4. Parker's in the lead. Let's see if Pat can close the gap real quick.
Real quick.
You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to seize your moment.
Oh, villain.
Politician. There we go. Politician. He says villain. Play it.
Success doesn't come for free, Miguel. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to seize your moment.
Who was
That
that?
one was Ernesto de la Cruz from Coco. I think that's all the time we have. Parker wins this one. Parker, what's
Congratulations.
your beverage of choice?
It's gonna be a good Fiji.
Love it. Fiji water. Thanks for
you.
playing along, guys.
Thank you, Frank. Thanks. Happy Halloween, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back here Monday morning, bright and early, here up north.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.